The Marine Corps and common sense, two things that seem to be like oil and water, have somehow come together and have made some kind of mutual understanding, as it looks like the Marine Corps is going to be more lenient in allowing beards in the U.S. Navy. We never thought this day would come. We never are thinking this is going to be a thing. But the Marine Corps is one of the most strict branches when it came to shaving. We're making progress to get beards allowed as we move through this thing where people are getting ponytails, earrings, who knows whatever else. Now, my audience is comprised of military, veterans, people that are joining, people that know how to spend their time wisely. Okay, maybe not that. But that's why this video is being brought to you by the one and only Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends is the game with over 600 champions where you can be whatever you want to be. Unlike what your mom told you, you can find everything in the links down in the description below. The newest boss just released in Raid is the biggest and craziest yet. Even crazier than Marine Drill Instructor. I promise you. This thing is a Hydra with 6 different heads. Each one has a complete boss battle all on its own. Some of these heads include the head of suffering, the head of torment. If you hurt this thing too much, you'll suffer as well. You'll need to bring some champions to take care of that pain link debuff. The head of torment, it specializes in using true fear to bring your team down by forcing the opposing team to skip the turn. What I like about this game are the level of graphics that you can see in detail. Also, I love that you can easily find a champion that is going to suit your battle style. So you're probably asking what's new on Raid. There's a ton happening in Raid this month. To start off, Raid's releasing a bunch of awesome new champions, along with a brand new Faction Wars crypt for one of my favorite factions, the Shadow Kin. It's going to be amazing, and I can't wait for the crypt to open up so I can drive in and see what it's all about. On top of that, there's a ton of New Year events and tournaments, including Special Fusion event, where you can get one of Raid's newest legendary champions. There's seriously never been a better time to get started, and if you use my link in the description or scan my QR code, you'll get a free starter pack with almost $30 to kickstart your game. We're talking a free champion, 200,000 silver, 1 energy refill, and 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in the game. All this treasure will be waiting for you, and these rewards will be available only for the next 30 days. So get it now. You can find all of your perks and benefits and bonuses over in your inbox. But let's dig into it. According to Task and Purpose, starting on January 31st, Marines with a painful condition where facial hair curves back into the skin and causes inflammation will no longer be punished for not shaving. The move applies to Marines diagnosed with pseudofolliculitis barbae, also known as razor bumps, a chronic condition that is a common problem in up to 60% of black men, according to the American Osteopathic College of Dermatology. Shaving exacerbates the problem by sharpening the facial hair that grows back into the skin. As somebody that writes no shave chits for every single person that somehow needs one, I can tell you what this is when that skin is growing back in, it hooks back into the follicle, causes these bumps, and realistically, the only way to allow them to get softer is let them to keep growing. You can brush them out to try and dislodge them from growing back into the skin. Even still, that's like a temporary thing, a lot of maintenance, things like that. And from this, I'm like, are we applying science to a common sense problem? Maybe so. To give some reference here to you guys out there that aren't medical, osteopathic medicine is more a natural, holistic approach, which there are ODs and MDs. ODs are the guys that are more holistic, do body manipulation, look at natural ways of, curing people. MDs are kind of the more traditional medicine route. The article goes on to say a 100% effective treatment is to let the beard grow. The college website, it says, once the hairs get to be a certain length, they will not grow back into the skin. For most cases, totally avoiding shaving for 3 to 4 weeks until all lesions have subsided, while applying a mild prescription cortisone cream to the involved skin each morning. It goes on to say no Marine shall receive a 6105 counseling due to a diagnosis of PFB, pseudofolliculitis barbae condition, or treatment for PFB, according to Marine Corps Administrative Message 019/22. No Marine shall be processed for administrative separation, separated from the Marine Corps, or denied reenlistment due to PFB condition and or for placement in temporary no-shave status. And this is a shocker, because guess what? These Marines can still be Marines even with a little bit of facial hair. We could take this all the way back to Archibald Henderson, where this guy was known as the grand old man of the Marine Corps and was one of the people that did instill shaving, haircuts, all of these things that we think of the Marine Corps as today as these strict standards. But it looks like some of those could be peeling back. It looks like they have taken some power away from commanding officers in regards to PFB, which I find quite interesting. I'll explain why. But the instruction cites this: medical officers are authorized to grant a temporary or permanent no-shave status for Marines who have a diagnosis of a PFB condition if topical treatments are proven ineffective. Medical officers shall have final authority for granting such status. Previously, medical officers only made recommendations to commanding officers concerning no-shave periods, and the commanding officer either approved or disapproved such recommendation. Medical waivers shall be issued by medical officers for a time period whereby Marines would either reasonably require medical follow-up or resolution of the PFB condition to eliminate the administrative burden associated with multiple waivers for a period of treatment. So per the previous regulation, a lot of you guys are probably like, of course you have to shave, but there were standards that were supposed to be met. There were 4 phases that were required to be met. I'll be honest, most people didn't even know what phase they were on, what was required. I honestly doubt that a lot of people were even following the instructions, because some of them included 2 medications, which included a hydrocortisone cream. The other one was a tretinoin cream, dried out your face really bad on top of that, and also required people to use what we would say is a barber clipper to keep it less than a 1/4 inch. And this would kind of go on each phase until you ended up at phase 4. Now, phase 4 would be where you would actually get laser hair removal from your face in order to make sure that you wouldn't grow facial hair. And, you know, as someone that probably is going to get out of the military at some point, I don't think everybody wants their facial hair lasered off to never come back. I like the way this reads. You know why? It doesn't list independent duty corpsmen, and I guess that means not part of my job. I'm kidding. But I want to say this really shifts the focus of where people saw shaving as an issue. A lot of people in the medical community saw this as, this is an administrative issue. People get razor bumps in the medical community. They're going to tell you to stop shaving. That's it. That's all they can do, because we were hands tied, never able to actually make a decision, because it's up to the commanding officer, and that was administrative. Now, Jeff Schogel, that writes this article, does make a critical analysis looking at this from the perspective of every branch. Now, when you look at it, you're like, Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps. Like, Navy was very known to have a very relaxed shaving policy. Even so, it became a joke, just like you didn't really need a no-shave chip for some guys that were out there, because it was just very stereotypical to see people that were on a no-shave profile / chit or whatever. And so what happened back in 2019, the Navy revisited this. We don't understand what was the push for this, but what they saw was they were like, we're now going to make it where you have to have a required follow-up every 6 months in order to make sure that you are still under a no-shave status, where the Marine Corps here looks like to be quite vague. It just says a suitable timeline that would be needed for follow-up. What is making this push? The Task and Purpose article is saying that they're looking at this for retention, because they're looking to retain people that they've already trained. Go figure. You spent how much money sending someone to boot camp for how many weeks, sending them to MCT, infantry school, whatever else. Then you send them to their first duty station. 4 years gone, poof, because they can't shave. I'm not saying CBRNE attacks and wearing gas masks is not important. It is. I just think that a lot of people are starting to realize that this emphasis on safety is probably being pushed by companies that make these masks. And I believe that maybe people are seeing behind the curtains a little bit when it comes to this, because they're probably thinking, do we really need to have 0 facial hair to get a SEAL? I don't think so. I don't think it's coming down to safety. I think people have, from these manufacturers, probably have overstated the barrier issues or the SEAL issues which come with having any facial hair. I mean, right now, I bet you with my 5 o'clock shadow, I could get a freaking, it's black and white shave, don't shave. That's what they want to keep it as, because it keeps it less messy. If I could give any recommendation, I'd say, why not just go to once a week shaving? That would make sense. Probably keeps it short enough. That way you can make sure the shave is going to happen. It's pretty obvious if someone shaved Monday morning or they didn't shave Monday morning. Let's just keep it simple, still keeps it black and white. Let me know, what do you guys think about this when it comes to Marine Corps tradition? Because like I said, they've been known to be sharp, clean cut in their alphas, all this craziness. But what do you think about how this is going to affect traditions that we've seen in the military? Do you think we're pivoting and kind of taking some notes from other foreign militaries that it might be okay? Let me know down in the comments below. If you guys have questions about this or anything else, you can always hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.